players spawning. Down here in the bottom position of Light Shade, he is Zest. And his opponent, up in the top, the mechanical god himself, he is INnoVation. And already we are going to be seeing the shenanigans here. INnoVation is one of those players who sometimes does not like going up against his Protoss brethren. And I think that's really going to be on display here as we have that first Rex nowhere near his own base, as well as a second one being started up back at home. So this really isn't the kind of build that's meant to kind of kill your opponent outright. But if it's not scouted, it's very powerful and can absolutely give you an early game to late game advantage for a long time here. Zest has not really scouted it out either. He kind of got a little bit of an inkling with that guy, but yeah, now he is finally going to see it, and we actually do see him throwing down a tech lab behind this, meaning that Marauders is the choice here. Now, Zest, he can be a little bit flustered by this, but he has seen the tech lab. He knows the Marauders are going to be coming out. We should be seeing concussive shells. There we go as well. So you're really going to have to be careful with this first Zealot. You really just have to wait out the Cybernetics core and hold the Zealot for a time when you can have that Stalker in the back and then just use him as a buffer. Behind this, we do see a couple of Marines just hanging out, coming across as well. So that is going to add a lot of power to this attack, but you have to be careful. You only have this SCV, this one SCV here to build the bunker. So far, looks like Zest is doing an okay job of kind of just pushing this back, but now, with the bunker being built and a couple of extra Marauders coming in, it's going to be a little bit more difficult. Shield battery is going to be helping out a lot, though, keeping that Zealot alive. Going to go straight for the SCV. And so far, this is a pretty good hold here for Zest. Now, INnoVation is in one of those spots where he has to recognize that it's Zest's turn to attack. We've got the Stargate on the way. He's got a lot of army out on the middle of the map, and actually just going to go straight for the stim back here. So INnoVation going to keep the aggression coming. This is a really, really good play here if he can get in there and do the damage that he needs. Otherwise, all of this army is just going to be absolutely chewed up by the Protoss force. Yeah, look at that. 3 shield batteries as well. It's going to be difficult to break here. Now, behind all of this, INnoVation isn't super far behind. He does have his CC very late starting now, but he still does have a relatively equal worker count, all things considered. So as soon as that CC is done, it's going to help him out quite a bit to kind of stabilize in this economic situation. And, you know, Zest is really the one who has to make a little bit of a small play here in order to kind of hang out. Brightness is very low. That might be the map a little bit. I have the brightness set pretty high. But anyway, the stim pack does get cleaned up by the Void Ray. That is already a good hit there for Zest. And now INnoVation is just going to have to jump in here and try and get a little bit of information with this barracks. Okay, I'll adjust the brightness after this game, see if that helps out a little bit. But yeah, you know, Inno still has a pretty powerful army back here, and all those Marauders and all those Marines being pumped out. He's got his starport on the way. Should be starting tank production. There we go. And now, you know, Zest is going to try and be a little bit aggressive here with these Void Rays. They are a little bit speedier than they used to be, but they don't have that upgrade which really allows them to kind of kite these Marines. But now every single time they hit these guys and don't lose too many shields, you know, it's just so much better for Zest because there is no healing power with this army just yet. Even just kind of denying some of the economy here for INnoVation with that reactor drop as well. Ooh, you gotta be careful here with those Void Rays. Good save on that last one. Yeah, so far I think INnoVation is having a little bit of trouble dealing with this. Not even getting the shot off, the killing blow there. So the reactor gonna get canceled once again. Wow, this is just terrible for INnoVation. Although he does have his third base up, to his credit. He's getting that CC going in. And I mean, these guys can't really hang out for too long on the map. Once Stim Pack is complete, which actually he hasn't even remade that tech lab yet. So it's going to be a long time before Stim is done. So actually now, you know, seeing that, the Void Rays can actually hang out as much as they want. Even going to go in here, kind of pull the army back and get a few cheeky SCV kills. How many times do you see Void Rays killing off workers? Now another big blow here, losing a couple of those Void Rays. Good targeting fire, gonna pick off almost all three of them it looks like, but the DTs are gonna be coming on in. You have one scan available, two scans available, plus a full wall off, so they're actually not gonna be able to get in. Incredible. INnoVation actually just doing a really good job of denying what Zest is going for here, even if he doesn't know really what's going on. But now a little bit of a tricky situation here, as the TT is going to be able to get in there. Inno does see it, and the Raven completes at just the right time. But now a lot of INnoVation's army is moving towards that third base. We might be seeing Zest have to pull around to deal with this, as there is no stim with it. Keep in mind, this is still all stimless. Yeah, there you go. Big recall going on at home. INnoVation needs to do a little bit more than just kill off that base. He needs to kill off plenty of this army of Zest as well if he wants to stand a chance here. He gets a couple of the Stalkers. A lot of the probes go down as well. But now there is a big room here for INnoVation, or Zest, to counterattack. Stim. Like, I keep saying the Stim because that's going to be the biggest linchpin of this attack here. Whether that is able to finish or not. Instantly getting the Raven as well. These Stalkers can kite around and blink to their heart's content. A lot of the SCVs being pulled. No scans either. That Orbital having the one big scan. So a lot of this army is starting to go down. All of the SCVs are pulled. And now with Stim finishing, I just don't know if there's going to be enough here, but Zest does not want to stick around and find out, it looks like. He's just going to kind of kite back and stick around the wall here rather than go too far forward. Yeah, 23 workers going down. That was not good for INnoVation at all. He's really gonna be struggling here for a little bit because there still is that threat of DTs on the map, so you can't really drop too many mules to get back into it, unfortunately. Yeah, and he kind of recognizes that as well. So INnoVation will tap out of game number 1, and we are going to be hopping right into game number 2 here in just a second. Let's see. Oh, this is going to be a good one. Death Aura is going to be our next map of choice. You know what, Boom Sauce? I am doing amazing, and I hope everyone else is joining in that amazing feeling. It's Friday. It's the weekend, finally. And I think everybody can agree this is a good way to start your Friday. Checking out this guy down here in the bottom position. He is Zest. His opponent up here in the top representing his Kaizu, he is INnoVation. So, INnoVation playing it a little bit more standard right now. Obviously, after kind of a game like that, you really don't want to risk getting into the long game behind. So it's much better to kind of just take the next game, chill, relax your mind, and just play it a little bit more standard. I think when INnoVation goes up against Zest in a standard game, he does play exceptionally well. So I think it's really evenly matched in that regard. So there's no real point trying to one-up Zest, especially not in just a little show match where you can't really show all your super interesting builds because you want to save those for the big money tournaments. Got the factory pretty far back there, so interesting placement. I feel like on a map like this, or in any map in general, the building placement tells you pretty much how this game is going to go. Yep, all 3 matches will be going on tonight. We got all 3 of them lined up and ready to go. A lot of StarCraft 2 action coming. So yeah, speaking of StarCraft 2 action, INnoVation going to get a nice little scout. Realizes that there's not too much coming his way. He just wanted to confirm. And, you know, behind this, it looks like he's gearing up for a little bit of a Widowmine drop. Now, the funny thing is, Zest is going to be going for Stargate behind this, and I think this is kind of the scariest thing for him, because now with the Widowmines in position, you have to be careful about where you put your Oracle, your Phoenix as well, because otherwise you're going to be in for a very rude awakening. And that rude awakening is going to come in the form of 75 minerals, 15 gas. And that's probably a fact check right there, but it's a low amount. It's definitely worth it. It's definitely worth it considering what you spend on an Oracle and a Phoenix and such. And actually, INnoVation going to supplement this a little bit, it looks like, with some Hellions, which I really do like because you can hit in multiple locations at once, drop the Widowmines in the main, and jump into the natural and get some damage done as well. So overall, I like this strategy. Even going to pick up the Hellions and go straight for the main base. Unfortunately, Zest gets complete wind of this. The Stalker not in position, actually, so he maybe didn't get a full glimpse on it. He probably wasn't paying full attention, but there we go. He's gearing up for the attack. He wants him to fly in, and then he's just going to pick it up with the Stalkers. So far, the Widowmine getting a couple of kills as the Hellions starting to get some good damage done. 5 workers going down. The Oracle didn't get too much at home, but getting the medevac, that is a big deal. That is a very expensive pickoff for INnoVation here, gas-wise. And it's going to be a while before he can really restart his drop play. So we see Zest, he's pretty much just powering up right now. INnoVation doing the same. Has to be careful not to lose too many more SCVs. Actually getting that off. Oh my goodness. Zest just getting all the plays done that he needs to. Even though he hasn't gotten a ton of worker kills in this game, you know, he's still getting the damage done. Indirectly. It can feel like that. Sometimes when you're watching a replay, it looks like that. Some units going faster. Although on this map, everything kind of looks faster because there's the acceleration zones. But Blink has been completed here. Stim not done. But he will have high ground vision for this attack. Having to drop an auto turret, does not want to lose the Raven too early, but so far, great blinks. Going to save all of those Stalkers, as well as getting some nice pickoffs on those Marines. Getting the Raven as well, that is a huge loss for INnoVation. C-Chain comes out in just in the nick of time as well to defend this location. So Zest, he can't fully risk getting into a bad position now. He lost one Stalker on a wayward strike. So, oh no. INnoVation. I got serious Bomber vibes from that game. I don't know if you guys remember Bomber versus Pult on Merry-Go-Round like a long time ago. But, yeah, those medevacs. Yeah, it was really funny because Pult sniped like 8 of Bomber's medevacs because Bomber wasn't paying attention and flew it right over his army. Yeah. But INnoVation has not forgotten any of his army, as he's going to be moving out here. Looks like Zest wants to kind of force a siege up, just buy himself some time with these Stalkers, but INnoVation's actually just going to chase these. It did happen twice. I remember it was just funny while seeing it happen twice. But INnoVation actually going to think a little bit more. He doesn't want to attack. He's just going to secure this third base location. And, you know, I don't disagree with that. His army, while pretty strong, is not huge. But this is going to give Zest some time to kind of move out. And he wants to be the first aggressor on this one. Now Zest going to attack in multiple locations at once. He's got the drop set up for the main base. A huge warpage of Zealots going to assist with this attack. And now INnoVation is in a decent siege tank position. He's going to be able to get some good shots off before the engagement really begins. But here we go. The big surround going to be coming out of this Protoss army. And the Terran is trapped. A couple of good EMPs going to be blanketing these guys, but there just is not enough DPS, and this game is starting to go to the dogs, or in this case, the Protoss. As Zest is just going to power his way through here. GG is called. So not the best start for our Blue Terran friend there. Unfortunately, he's dropping 2 games, so he is on his match point. I think the big thing is INnoVation. He always has these periods where he just looks amazing, but he also has these really low valleys, I feel, where he sometimes has some difficulty, especially in TvP. I think that's the one that he has the most trouble in. When he gets into into trouble. But you know what? He still has plenty of options here as we're going to be hopping into game number 3, ladies and gentlemen, spawning. Up here in the top position, he is 1 game away from winning. Zest. And his opponent down here in the bottom of Submarine. He's INnoVation. So now this is a bit of a shorter, map to play on. There's a really short rush distance between the 2 bases, and that can lead to some very aggressive plays here. I think that's how INnoVation needs to go. He's been giving Zest a lot of time with a lot of his attacks, and Zest has just always been able to kind of push him back with a superior army supply. So I think in this one, INnoVation just needs to take that early game advantage that you can have and kind of just push through into the natural. Now, INnoVation is keeping a very close eye on this probe here. That's going to be very important because this is a bit of a cannon rush map. Although Zest is not going to be doing that. There's always the little bit later shenanigans that can happen if you're not careful in your natural. Looks like Zest actually wants to play some shenaniganry himself here as he's got that pylon being dropped down. Sneaky, sneaky Protoss. Back at home, you know, he's got the standard setup. He's got the Stalker coming out. Gateway Warp Gate has started. And from there, he's just going to kind of shoo the Reaper away. He wants to deny as much information as possible. Otherwise, INnoVation's going to realize that, oh, you're building nothing in your main base and you're staying on 1-1. So I need to scout the map a little bit more. So far, Inno, though, just going for some probe kills here. Not going to get him just yet. Good control from Zest. Only losing 1. And actually going to get out of there with the Reaper as well. Now, Zest hasn't really walled off in this game, and which is good for INnoVation right now. He's got a couple of Hellions popping out, and with those Hellions plus the Reaper, you can really get into the natural and just kind of cause havoc for Zest. It looks like it is just going to be that 1 Hellion, however, so not going to overcommit, not going to overcommit here. Getting a couple of kills, though, which is always good damage this early on. How often do I see it? I've seen it sometimes in the games. It kind of depends on the skill of the Reaper user. I think 1 is low for Beyond, but high for, say, an NA Terran. It kind of just depends, but already this Oracle gonna start getting some okay damage here. He's really shooting for 5 to make it worth it with that first one, but now out of energy, he is gonna have to back on out. So a little tit for tat here with these guys, kind of just exchanging small blows. Now, INnoVation behind all of this is just going to start powering up. He's got his three racks about to begin. He's got Stim on the way as well. Does he have the third base yet? He does not. That's not 100% telling just yet, but we'll have to see if he does decide to just drop down a couple of extra barracks and go for it off of 2 bases. And that's kind of what I was thinking in the beginning. I think he should be a little bit more aggressive versus Zest, because Zest has been powering up very hard. He's got Blink on the way. He's going out on the map. And, you know, INnoVation doesn't really have a full-on response to it other than a few Marauders at this point. Although that was a little bit of a mistake there for Zest, losing 4 Stalkers. Wow, that was not a good decision. And really good by INnoVation to kind of bait him in there. Raven not really going to get too much done on the other side here, as Zest trying to rotate around, but the Stalker's just going to have to bail on out of there. And now we actually see still no third CC on production for INnoVation. He's just pumping pure units at this point. And here we go. The first March of the Terran has begun. Going to go straight for that third base. I imagine sniping that would be wonderful. But the Oracle going to actually come in here and kind of deny some of these reinforcements, as INnoVation has to focus on it to make sure he doesn't lose too much here. INnoVation kind of just dancing around over here. He's got to get those Widow Mines in a good position. Shield battery has already been popped, so that is going to make this defense a little bit easier for him. Good baits as well by those Stalkers. INnoVation being very, very stealthy with this. Not stealthy, but patient. And here we go. Once that shield battery has stopped, that is his end game right here. Stalkers starting to fall. The shield batteries doing what they can, but there is just so much focus fire here with these Marauders. One big warping of Zealot's going to get taken out by the Widow Mines before it can really even go off. And now there is just so much firepower with this Terran army, as Zest going down to 16 army units, as well as all of his probes getting taken down. Not even enough for another warp in. GG. INnoVation puts himself on the board. A little bit premature on the defense there by Zest, popping that shield battery a little bit too early, giving INnoVation the chance to move in before there was too much Protoss. Wow. INnoVation just showing what he can do with few units. That does mean we're going to be hopping back into game number 5. Not game number 5 just yet. If there's a game number 5. Let's check out these guys on Pillars of Gold spawning up here in the top right position. He is Zest. And his opponent down here in the bottom position, he is the machine, INnoVation. You know, it's always funny to think of INnoVation as a machine, because the thing is, a machine can't write his own software. Someone else has to do it for him, and INnoVation kind of just writes his own way into a victory here. So he's more like an AI backed up with a giant mechanical body. So I think that's really what allows him to go there, because it's so innovative as well. He's created such an amazing repertoire of builds that he can pull out versus pretty much anyone. And you know, Zest, He's no slouch either. Zest is one of the most solid Protoss players and has been on an absolute tear recently, especially in places like GSL and all these online cups as well. I remember like a few weeks ago he took on Byun and just absolutely decimated him. But you know, there's a chance that those two meet again this time for a little bit of payback. We will have to see. I actually don't know the results yet because I'm hiding all of the folders of the replays until it is time for them. But INnoVation, once again, just kind of playing it a little bit more standard. This is a bit more of a macro map. You do have those bases that are a little bit further away from your opponent, so it's always good to kind of just, you know, chill out. After this game, definitely. But you know, Zest this time is just gonna go straight for the Twilight Council instead of the Stargate this time. He feels confident enough. He's been going pretty hardcore on these blink plays, but you know, one thing I've seen him do a lot on this map, even versus Terran, has been adept timings. I know that may not necessarily be the case, but it would be pretty fun to see. Reaper and a couple of Marines going to ski-daddle that guy on out. As the Hellions going to be moving across the map as well to deal with this. Also, guys, just a heads up, the bracket, these are replays, so if you don't want it spoiled, don't click on the bracket link because it does have the results of this tournament. Now, INnoVation has scouted out a little bit. He wants to be safe. He really just does not want to die to anything hidden out on the map. But he is going to be a little bit more aggressive here. Once again, he's just going to move the Reaper and the Hellion in. But unfortunately, Zest way ahead of him. Sees once again that it's Blink, so now he can kind of prep the defense back at home. So INnoVation kind of just, you know, he's chilling out. He's relaxing, you know. It's Friday night. He's playing StarCraft 2. He doesn't want to leave his base just yet. He's already got his jammies on. But, you know, Zest is going to call him up in about, like, 20 minutes, say, hey, let's go to the club. I hear they got Fireball whiskey on tap. And, yeah, that's when he's going to move out on his base. He's going to realize that there isn't Fireball whiskey because I don't think they have Drizzly in Korea just yet. So he's just going to move out his entire army and beat Zest. That's my prediction. Like I said, I don't know how these games turned out. I'm getting the replays literally as the game ends. But INnoVation does have a solid unit count right now. Zest still kind of powering up. He's already got the robo facility, so he's not committing too hard to the stalker pressure like he has in previous games. And from there, he's just going to really look, I imagine, to kind of steamroll INnoVation. Now, INnoVation, though, he does not know this. Welcome, everyone, from Egalos stream. I hope you all have had a good stream. I know we're having a good stream so far as we have the Raven getting dropped right on top of the War Prism. Oh, no. I think that is kind of the move that INnoVation loves to see. Now that he knows that the threat of counterattack is gone, he can move out quite aggressively with his entire army. Willkommen, Aegelos, or Aegelus. I can't pronounce German very well. But INnoVation, you know, he can pronounce his army as well as he needs to, as he's already moving in towards this third base. As once again the shield batter has been popped. This is a big attack, but the force field's going to kind of keep the zealots from getting on top of this army a little bit here. And as the sentries go down, that's a lot of gas gone. Wouldn't mind getting some good shots on the Immortals here, but I think INnoVation has a little bit too much. He is definitely going to be able to a little bit break this location here. The shield batter is just not enough power to defend. Although the reinforcements from the back are going to clean up a lot of the reinforcing power, and now INnoVation is starting to lose a little bit of steam here. Hola a todos. Bienvenue. I think that's Spanish. Anyway, the probes have been pulled, and Zest is fighting for his life here. A few good warpins going to help him push this back. You know, Zest, he still has a very low army supply here, very low supply overall. Back at INnoVation's base, he's actually going to expend a lot of his warpins. Pick off the reinforcements as well as go after INnoVation's economy, and this is actually going to see INnoVation pick up and try and drop the main base here. Unfortunately for him, he flew right in view of Zest. As the Zealots barely getting picked up there. 13 workers going down, and the third base is still under fire. INnoVation has to jump out of his base, and still taking damage from a few wayward Zealots. Now that was a risky move by INnoVation. If he would have lost these, he would have essentially had to quit the game right there. But now Zest is really in his element here, as he's able to just continuously send these counterattacks to multiple locations, and INnoVation can't respond effectively with the reinforcements. His army was kind of just sitting around out here too, so they're not really helping the matter much, as his entire natural has to be retreated. And while he does lose the War Prism here, the Zealots still going to jump around. And INnoVation going to try for a big ditch effort, trying to tear this game out from Zest. You know, now that Zest has been cleaned up a little bit, we've got a stream of reinforcements coming across the map for INnoVation. 11 probes have already gone down with this attack. My goodness, now while INnoVation has had to get out of there, he still has a supply lead. Fuego pelota. Oh, that's pretty cool. You know what else is pretty cool? INnoVation is still on the attack here. The DT's forcing a scan out of INnoVation's. But still, there's enough here for Zest, but he is spending a lot of his warpins on these DTs. Oh, this is risky still for him here, as his army has been cleaned up. Third base. Not going to have enough here as the pros once again pulled. There are just so many Marauders with this and a lot of healing energy left. It looks like INnoVation is just going to barely have enough here. Yeah, there you have it. Once that base lost its workers, INnoVation was able to claim the victory and move on to match number 5. This is live, but the games are not. Like, I am sitting here on a Friday night. The players probably sitting playing StarCraft somewhere else. And remember, guys, these games are going to be brought to you by Fireball Whiskey. Wherever you are in the world, Fireball is a really refreshing drink, best for a party, but also great for a good night in. I can show you right now, actually. We have some apple cider, and what I've done is I've heated it up. I've heated it up. I've made it a warm apple cider from my local farmer's market. And I've added a little bit of Fireball to make it a nice apple cinnamon flavor. It's really good. You know what, guys? We got some really good stuff coming up here because it is game number 5 between these guys. Without further ado, spawning in the top position, he is Zest. And his opponent spawning it down here in the bottom position, cleaning up house in that last game. He's INnoVation. Oh, Mikagu89. I love Glühwein. I actually lived in Germany like 2 years ago. And every Christmas, I would go to as many Christmas markets as I could, just so I could get those decorative Glühwein cups. But to answer your question, Boom Sauce, basically what we're going for is a nice, relaxed Friday night stream. You know, it's been a long week, and the best way to relax and unwind is with some StarCraft 2, as well as the good friends in Twitch chat. So that's really what we're going for, and the best way to do it is with Fireball Whiskey. Now, INnoVation, he thinks the best way to do it is straight up down Zest's aisle, as we've seen in the previous couple of games. When he just plays standard, when he just plays straight up versus Zest, he has absolutely dominated the conversation in these games. You know, Zest, he's really the one who now has to answer for the previous couple of games. He's got a lot of moves up his sleeve that he can use, especially on Romanticide, but I feel like there's a small possibility that INnoVation can actually siege up this position over here straight into Zest's third base location. INnoVation going to get a little bit of a scout around. You know, from here, Zest, you know, he's been feeling pretty confident in his aggressive game with the Stalkers, so we should be seeing him kind of go back into that. He's got the Twilight Council going down. We should see Blink as well being popped after that. And I think he really just kind of wants to put that aggression onto INnoVation. When he's been able to put that aggression and power on, INnoVation has just had some trouble kind of responding. You know, Boom Sauce, I actually thought the same, especially when you're in the college scene. Fireball is kind of the party drink, but after I started looking up recipes for the stream, so I'm not just like downing shots every week, I kind of saw that there were so many cool little recipes and so many ways that you can kind of use it for its cinnamon content rather than just as an alcoholic drink. I've actually been really liking it just on the off stream to unwind with. But as the Reaper's going to be popping in here, 2 workers did go down. And they did get some good scouting information as well, so it was totally worth it, especially since INnoVation didn't really commit too hard to it. INnoVation, however, is going to commit hard to this. 2 Widow Mines are in there. Unfortunately, Zest in the perfect position to snipe that. You have to be careful here. Losing that medevac sets you back a lot of gas. And it looks like he's actually just going to go straight for the main base here. These guys don't have Blink just yet. It's about to finish, though. And yeah, INnoVation kind of realizes that he's just going to set that up for a little bit later. It's a sneaky surprise. Oh, thank you so much, Mikagu. Like, I always try and put on the best show possible for you guys because these games are always too awesome not to. I'm kind of their Friday guy. Now, once again, I don't see a third base anywhere, guys. So INnoVation is going to be trying his best to end this game as quickly as possible off of 2 bases. You know, he's got his army all put together right now, and this is going to be his chance to move across. And I think he has a good opportunity here. There's only 1 shield battery in this location, and Zest hasn't scouted it out just yet. Now, this is spotted by Zest, and Zest is already in position with his units. As the drop going straight into INnoVation's base, the reinforcement's actually going to have to be pulled back to defend that now. INnoVation, he's got to be a little bit cautious going up this ramp. There is quite a bit of energy for that ramp. And, you know, actually, INnoVation is just going to jump on it. He saves a few of these units, which is good. One nice hit right there, and the Widow Mine's actually going to go into the main base, get 7 workers up there as well. So good 1-2 punch here. Almost going to get the Warp Prism as well. But he's not going to stop this Warp in, and that is a lot of Zealots to contend with as he is pushed back at the front once again. Another big warp in going on in INnoVation's base. INnoVation starting to drop in supply a little bit here as his SC feet count goes down, and he's actually going to have to pull back here. Stalker's not able to get a kill on that medevac. Widow Mines also not ready for another shot. These Zealots just going to town here, and Zest even going to save quite a few of them. It's just really hard to deal with this as INnoVation, it seems. Reinforcement is going to be coming across the map as well. Going to go straight into the main base, and INnoVation, he's fighting hard, but his production is now compromised here. Third base is under fire. 12, 13 workers already going down. Might lose the third base as well. INnoVation having to jump that off. And this is kind of the thing here, as Zest has been able to keep INnoVation off his game, keeping the aggressive warp-ins in his base, forcing the reinforcements to stay at home. INnoVation has not been able to counter that with his pushes. Zest powering up on 3 bases now. INnoVation pushed back to 2. He's got to remake that 3rd base here, he feels. He just doesn't have the energy to do a 2-base aggression anymore. Now, I do like that he's still trying to get a little bit done with these drops. A couple of good Widowmine hits, and he is back into this pretty handedly. But it is going to take a lot on terms of everything else in order to make it really cemented home for him. Yeah, and look at that. A little bit of a trap less for Zest. He will get the Widowmines out, but already going to pull a lot of the workers away. The Widowmines in the natural, however, Zest not paying attention. Those are the kind of hits that he needs. So the problem is, while INnoVation has taken that supply lead, he's not following up essentially on this attack. Zest, while he did lose a lot, he's got a lot of chrono energy banked up, and that does mean he's going to be able to recover, especially since he does have those 3 bases still. This is the kind of move that I think we need to see here, as INnoVation going to be moving out straight for the 3rd base. INnoVation, though, is in position. He has a very scary army right now. Looks like we got a little bit of a Warp Prism going across the map as well. 6 workers instantly going down here. I think he dropped those Widowmines in the main base. Yes, he did. So pulling Zest's attention away. Like, absolutely incredible there. But now he's still playing it very cautious. There's so much force field energy that it's going to be very difficult to move across this ramp. I think right now he needs to start rotating around. Maybe even just go for this. A huge drop, going to go straight for the main base, actually. And this is where it gets dicey, especially since Zest is in position with quite a few Stalkers, but a lot of these units do actually get dropped. Artosis pylon, or actually no, it's Tastosis pylons. There's 2 of them. And he does delay the warp-ins for a little bit longer here. Looks like we have a lot of those reinforcements. Actually not with this army, however. A big shield warp-in pop going to go down as well. And Zest is just going to push this back. Reinforcement is going to be trying to come in here as well, but Zest just not losing the things that he needs to. He's now up to 3 Colossus. Still no 4th base. He's looking to just close it out on 3, I guess. Yeah, Artosis pylon is 1, Tastosis pylon is 2 of them. I remember now. But INnoVation must remember that there are a lot of Protoss units here. The Viking does go down before cleaning up the Warp Prism. Huge scan going down, revealing all the trouble that INnoVation is in. Looks like he's just going to go for a big Doom drop in the natural. Probes are going to be pulled for that one. But everything at home is forfeit. Little bit of a base race situation. You know, losing one of those Colossus, nice pick off there from INnoVation. It's one way to help himself out, but there's just not enough, unfortunately. All of his SCVs going down. His drop in the main base still doing a lot, but there's still recall, remember. And yeah, there you go. Zest just able to get the damage done quickly and efficiently.